everyone, and welcome to
Coffee time. We still have got to work on that.
yes, a jingle,
Yeah.
a rap.
I do
From
believe
you.
it's in your heart. And I'll support it. You know, no one's
I'd have
your
to make it
bigger
like an official
cheerleader than
video
me.
though, and not just and like maybe the segment of it. It can be
Go
like
all
the segue.
out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. We can work on that.
maybe,
Okay.
maybe we'll see. Childhood dream.
Look out for that one.
That's right. All
be
right.
good.
So last week we talked.
All
about,
right, so let's
change subject as fast as possible.
cut the fun. Let's get to it.
I'm trying to get myself out of the pressure of creating a rap video now.
I can always
did
see
I
when
commit to
you're
this
there.
on camera and film?
I can always see when you're thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of committing to things on camera and film, last week we talked about how how we would talk again about marriage and like we would get to the point that we talked about, and then you just decided to share the point. So it worked though.
I'm an
I thought it was
open
great.
book.
So the point we were going to share was actually the point that she shared, and I thought that was a
You're
great,
welcome, everyone.
Yes, you're welcome.
You know, sometimes in life,
You're welcome.
the most irritating thing is a cliffhanger.
That's
And
true.
I
skip that.
I didn't want you to feel that.
Yes.
I went for it.
So this week I want to ask you a question and see what comes
Okay,
out and where you
okay.
go with this.
Okay.
But we're in our 30s now. If you could
Yes.
go back and do anything differently in your 20s, what would it be and why?
Oh, I did not see that question coming.
In your 20s, if you could go back for all of our millennials out there, maybe the start of Generation Z, if you could go back in your 20s and do anything differently, what would you do and why?
I think about what I'm really working to improve in my own life right now, and I wish I would have gotten here sooner, was being really careful how I use my words over friendships, over kids. It's just something really big in me right now.
I've always thought you was very good at that.
Thank you. I think more so
Money in
thing-
bank for ladies.
Ray,
You've always been amazing.
let's wrap this coffee time.
Wonderful.
Yeah. He's perfect. No,
That's good, though.
But the words I've spoken over myself, I think has really hurt confidence. It has belittled gifts and talents. I think when you,
So words specifically over yourself.
yeah, yes.
Now that I have seen an improvement in.
Yes, because I know we always say the saying, or we don't, everyone does, that you can't love others until you love yourself. And I always felt like that was so wrong. But when I really started taking a deeper dive into that, and I realized you said something last week that I am a daughter of God. So why would I belittle who I am? If that's like the top tier. That's as good as it gets being a child of God. And how silly of me to belittle that reality. Like, I'm his, and I am worthy of believing the best for myself and in myself. I don't have a issue with humility. It's taking time to realize, now, I have gifts and talents, and I'm not the only one sitting on the sidelines thinking, I wish I had that gift or that gift. But honestly, if you take time to pull back, if you think yourself where you're not, I wouldn't say valuable, but for me, I took time to pull back and say, Lord, what is it you placed in me that I have belittled and I have not taken the time to stir up, that I have not magnified that gift you gave me, that I've belittled the gifts you've given me, because he's placed things in each one of us And I think we have so much set ourselves back, not him. He's waiting on us to see he has given me some things that this world needs, that my husband needs, that my kids need. And it's for me to discover those through prayer and not put them down through the words of my mouth.
Yeah, it's very interesting because in being married to you for 16 years, and once again, we got married very young. We're in our 30s. But I've known you from 18 till now, and out of that, I have always been amazed at who you are as a person and the gifts and the talents that you have. But I have seen, like you said, of sometimes of like the way you would describe yourself or the way you would say who you are.
Yeah.
And never in a bad way, but like it stayed in that arena and not seeing like really who I saw you as and who the Lord
true.
saw you as. You know, and I think we have a generation now with social media that has compared themselves so much with everyone else
Yes.
that we see who we're not and feel shame for being who we're not instead of seeing who we are and being
Yeah.
able to celebrate who they are, but being able to celebrate who I am too. How have you navigated those self-esteem issues and how have you kind of navigated that in your own life to really be able to see who you are and to overcome any insecurity that may be there?
Yeah. I can remember maybe 10 years ago, me and you were having a conversation who knew me well. We were having a conversation with them. And all I ever said was, I want to be a wife and a mom. And that is a calling. That there are gifts and talents to uncover in that alone. And we were talking to this person, and they're like, yeah, you're just like so-and-so. Like, you don't want to be working at the church. And, you know, you're just... It was a sweet thing they were saying, but when we got in the car, I can remember you saying, I see more in you than just that. I see the way you mother needs to be shared with others.
Right.
And so I think
That is a calling, but out of that, if that is my call of being a mom and being a wife, let me use that platform to teach others, like, here's what I'm seeing in motherhood. Here's what and like, people need your voice, and none of us are people who should be in the shadows. We should all build a platform for God.
Absolutely. And that comes back to, why do we belittle a gift and a talent? You've said something in messages recently that we start, how did you say it? It was, we start operating in it so easily that we think it's just us. And you're talking about
see
Samson.
it as a grace.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
It's like
forget
God
that
has
it's a
graced you to do
grace
this.
God has given us. And we think being a wife, that's easy. It seems very simple. You don't yell. You're not crazy. You know, cook them a meal every now and then.
Don't be crazy.
Don't be crazy, and you got it.
You got
Like,
it. It'll be
that's
fine. Just don't be crazy.
And that will take you a long way.
That's true.
But we have these graces.
But that's a great point. You know, of like, you have a grace like Samson. And what
Yeah.
was that grace for? It wasn't just so other people could look at it and be like, man, he's strong.
Right.
It was that grace was there to deliver people
Yes.
and to bring deliverance to them.
Yeah.
And so for each one of our graces, no matter what that be, if there's something in my life that I'm constantly getting attention on or people are constantly pointing out, it's not us, there is a grace. What's that grace for?
Yes.
It's to deliver people. It's to bring people into a place where they're able to see something in their life that brings freedom and liberty to their families and to things like that.
Yes.
So how did you go about like understanding I'm graced and being confident in who you are and a confident woman and a confident mom and a confident employee? Like, what was the journey you kind of went on through that?
I think first we need to check ourselves and make sure we stay humble about the gifts and talents we do have that God has given us. And so I think that's a big one. And I know when people kept, saying that, here I go, hold on, let me tell you about how great I am. No, people would comment on "you're such a good mom,"
But
or "you're."
but you took it as an insult of like all the things you're not. Is it?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. It's so bizarre. It's a double-edged sword that it's like, okay, so I'm a wife and a mom, and that's all I'm known for. And so you can get kind of mixed up in it. But the thing that I have realized is it isn't about what I do as a wife. It isn't about what I do as a mom. It's every day just praying like, Lord, let me be the mom you called me to be.
Yeah.
And we put ourselves back into a perspective of it's only through you that I know how to do this, because we're faced with the teenage stage. This is our first time to go through it. We're not supposed to be professionals. We've never done this. But it's like, Lord, today I don't know what to do here. And you humble yourself before him. And it's like, I know you've called me. I know you've equipped me. And you dig deep into that grace that you have to be a wife and a mom, or whatever the situation arises. So I think just being so in tune to he has the answer. I'm the vessel. He saw fit to connect me to you. He saw fit to connect me to my children. He gave them to me. And he has everything. He's placed everything I need to do that job in me. So it's just praying out those gifts and talents.
How much do you think in you or in society as a whole for everybody, not just ladies but also men, being able to see everybody else's lives has preyed on our insecurities of who we're not? And I need to be more of blank, and I need to do this, or I need to copy this or mimic this. And if I'm not doing that, I can't feel confident. There are people that I've met even recently in counseling who have been people who I consider to be very confident, and then in moments where they kind of took that off, it's like dealing with major eating disorders, really struggling with self-image, really coming into a place where they're revealing just how unhealthy they are and feeling like no matter what I do, I'll not be enough. And I'm like, we think you're awesome.
Right.
Like we see you and we think you're amazing. But it's so funny how people have all these labels of what they're not.
Right.
Instead of really seeing what we are. And how do I combat that when I'm seeing everybody else's lives? And of course, most of the time it is their strengths and them rising and slaying and how much they're lifting, or the new dress, or, the vacation that they're on, or like any
Right.
of these things that can prey upon those insecurities. How do we overcome that?
Well, I realized that I never heard my mom talk about, I need to lose weight. I need to go to the gym. I need to go get the latest jacket everyone's getting.
Isn't that
It's
interesting?
because it's not posted
Ah,
everywhere.
that's a good point. I can't ever
Because-
remember my mom saying things like that.
Yeah, they were not consumed by self-image. I mean, yeah, you have Cindy Crawford or, all these gorgeous women, but it wasn't a daily comparison. And it wasn't like insight into what their morning, what juice glass they use that you have to have now because they used it that morning. And I don't think they were consumed with constantly having to compare their life to theirs, the famous person's, because
Or even a friend.
bam, exactly. Like, it doesn't even come from a bad place in us. But we're like internalizing so much, because what I've realized is we do live in a broken world, and the lens by which we look through is often what we're not. And I thought about a minister who came into our church years ago, and he like drew this painting, say it was blue, and he put the teeniest, tiniest yellow dot in the middle. He's like, what do you see? And instead of all the blue, you see the one tiny yellow dot. And I think that's so true in our lives. We can be the most incredible entrepreneur, wife, husband, father, but if we're not disciplined and perfect in this area, that's all we can think about. And we just, in those moments, and you've preached such incredible messages on this, it's a simple shift of focus.
Right.
Like, why are we choosing to see the one speck that's not perfected, why don't we see it as something I can improve on. Like, I'm not where I want to be there yet. But why can't I take the journey of, let me just work on that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be perfect. But if it really bothers me, let me just focus on my life, my issue, and work on that.
Yeah, so kind of like what I'm hearing, like some takeaways that I think people can walk in is one, change the labels. All throughout
Yes.
childhood or in life, we may have, I am just blank. And so when it's just, it's, demeaned. To come
Yes.
back and say like, no, I am that. And I am a child of God. All the I am statements in Scripture and in Pauline's
good.
revelations of I am bought with a price.
Yes.
Like I was worthy of Jesus, and like really strong self-affirmations pointing
Yeah.
out our strengths and having those times of encouragement, and then having people in our lives who constantly tell us who we are. And
Yes.
affirm that in us and
Right.
have that affirmation of like, this is who I am, to build up that self-confidence. I know you have done this in life, and I have done this as well, as noticing when there may be a social media break. And time to kind of pull away from the comparison game, and time to kind of pull away from some of these things where I know it's getting toxic for me. And then you get back in, it's like it's not toxic anymore, but then there might be another season of life where it's like I'm spending way much time seeing who I'm not. And those types of things. And then two, learning each other's strengths, and being able to celebrate that strength in someone else, and knowing that their strength does not have to be mine.
Yes.
Like, it's okay
Yeah.
if you are very strong in that area. I am not competing with you.
Yes.
I've got this guy, I'm a buddy with his, and he's just completely built differently than me. His name is Gabe, and Gabe is a great individual, but he slaughters me in all things athletically running. And I used to get so mad. I'm like, I'm going to run every day just to beat Gabe. And now I'm like, and when I see him, I'll point him out to Boston. I'm like, Boston, Gabe is a great athlete. I'm like, if you want to learn how to run faster, go to Gabe, because I'm not going to give you that.
Yes.
So I celebrate that in him, and know like there are things about my physicality that can be celebrated within me. And so learning, like, if I can't celebrate you and I'm feeling the need to compete with you, something is not healthy in my soul.
Yes.
I have a self-image problem. And out of that, I need to be able to celebrate your strength without feeling the urge to compete with it.
Yes.
And out of that come to where I see my strengths too, and I celebrate that. And I'm having that moment there too. So
yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
There'll
That's a great
always be
topic.
something better in someone else, but there's always something better in you. So learn to celebrate their better. Learn to celebrate your better.
I am better than you. That's what I heard from that. Whoever you are.
okay.
No, I'm joking.
They have green eyes. You always wanted green eyes, but you have brown eyes. They
Yes.
always wanted brown
Yes,
eyes.
it's
Not
true.
better.
My eyes change according to what I'm wearing.
You could see that as cool, or you could see, oh, chameleons do that as well.
Well, we love you guys so much. Thank you for taking the time to just
Yes.
have a little coffee time with us. What do you say we end with today?
Let's do it.
All right, for today's dare, what we're going to do is we're going to take some whipped cream. We're going to put it on our hand. We're going to hit it and make it go in our mouth. That's the plan, at least. The first to 5 wins. So, you ready? All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. That clearly did not work.
It hurt my arm. Wait.
1.
I can't get it.
4. Are you even trying? Oh!
Oh my god! No idea how to make it.
No victory kiss? No victory kiss?
Oh.
You made it! Oh man! I think I'm 4 for 4.
Whatever.
Oh, I did lose. I did lose the egg one last week.
Yeah, you did.
That's true.
That's sad.
All right. Hope that
I win.
Truce. Stop everything. Okay, you didn't say it.
Stop everything.
Oh, hope that blessed you. I'm going to be in trouble for the rest of the day.
So much we do this.